Welcome to 8 Minutes Chinese. Today, we're unlocking the essential phrases you can use in daily life and master in your next business negotiation.
Today, we're diving into a fascinating mix of language, culture, and, well, some pretty awkward social dynamics. We're unpacking a really vivid Chinese idiom, 鹤立鸡群, 鹤立鸡群, that literally translates to standing out like a crane among chickens. It paints a hilarious picture, right? But as you'll see, it carries some serious cultural baggage. So let's just jump right into it. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with an awkward dinner compliment, break down the idiom itself, look at cranes versus chickens, dive into the ancient origin story, discuss modern usage and risks, and finally, look at a gentler alternative. Let's kick things off with section 1, an awkward dinner compliment. Picture this. You're a foreigner at a really nice dinner party hosted by some Chinese friends. You're practicing your Mandarin, doing your absolute best to chat, when suddenly someone turns to you, smiles huge, and gives you what is clearly meant to be a massive compliment about your language skills. But they say something about a crane and a bunch of chickens. Your first thought? Wait, are they saying I sound like a bird? You probably just smile and nod, right? It's that classic fish out of water feeling. You know they're being sweet, but you literally have no idea what they mean. And hey, that's the danger of cultural idioms. Smiling and nodding can totally backfire if you don't actually grasp the metaphor. You're just sitting there thinking, am I the crane or the chicken? Which brings us right into section 2, breaking down the idiom. To figure out why that dinner guest was praising you, we've got to look at the literal translation. The idiom is 鹤立鸡群, 鹤立鸡群. Like we said, literally, a crane standing among chickens. Now, this is meant to be really high praise. It means you're exceptional. You stand out from the crowd in a big way. So, if someone drops this on you, they are for sure calling you the crane. You're noticeably different and to them, way more impressive than the usual crowd. Let's break this down character by character so it really sticks in your memory. First up, we have ts, h, he. That's the crane, you know, the elegant white bird with the long neck. Then we have li, which means to stand. After that is ji, meaning chicken. And lastly, kun, which is a group or flock. Put it all together, a crane standing in a flock of chickens. You can instantly visualize it, can't you? A crane is physically huge compared to a chicken, so it's definitely going to stand out. But it's actually not just about size. Let's move on to section 3, cranes versus chickens. See, it's not just a physical comparison. It's a really deep cultural contrast. In traditional Chinese culture, the crane is revered. It represents grace, detachment from worldly desires, and wisdom. It's this elevated, almost spiritual creature, totally associated with legendary immortals in ancient paintings. Chickens, on the other hand, well, they represent the grounded, highly utilitarian, everyday world. You eat them, they lay eggs, they're profoundly ordinary. So this contrast really highlights traditional Chinese values, elevating noble, spiritual refinement way above mundane existence. Honestly, the idiom's kind of brutal to chickens. It creates this stark, immediate hierarchy. To really get this worldview, we need a crucial word, 象征. That means to symbolize, or a symbol. The crane and the chicken aren't just birds here. They're heavy symbols. The crane is a 象征 for elegance and being above the rest, while the chicken is a 象征 for the mundane. Grasping this concept is absolutely key to making sense of traditional Chinese cultural idioms. Nothing is ever just what it literally looks like. All right, section 4, the ancient origin story. This phrase actually traces way back to a 7th century historical text called the Jin Shu, the Book of Jin. In it, there's a guy named Ji Shao. Now, he was the son of one of the famous 7 sages of the Bamboo Grove. Basically, think of an ancient supergroup of free-spirited, wildly intelligent scholars. So Ji Shao comes from this serious lineage of extreme refinement and intelligence. The story goes that when Ji Shao attended the royal court, an observer described him perfectly, saying he was standing out among the other officials like a crane among chickens. Now, the absolutely crucial thing to realize here is that they weren't saying he was physically taller or louder or wearing flashier clothes. It was all about his profound inner qualities radiating outward. He had this very specific vibe, captured perfectly by the word qi zhi. This means temperament, bearing, or aura. It was this 气质 that made Ji Shao pop. He possessed a unique moral character, a quiet, rebellious dignity that naturally commanded a room. He wasn't just smart. He carried himself entirely differently. He was the literal crane in a room full of ordinary officials. It's a really beautiful, deeply respectful origin story.
Now for Section 5, Modern Usage and Risks. Language evolves, right? Today, this phrase is used to describe undeniable prominence, and sometimes it's a mix of physical presence and a really unique aura. A perfect recent example of this in the news is Elon Musk's visit to China alongside Donald Trump. Now, physically, Musk's towering height in a crowd literally gives off that crane among chickens imagery, but it goes way deeper into his qize, his kize. Musk is known for being rebellious, untamed, and having a completely unique personality. It's a stark contrast to the typical corporate or political figures around him. So using Hurley Chiquin to describe his undeniable, out-of-the-box presence is incredibly fitting. But here is the tricky part for the rest of us. If you try to use this in your everyday life, like at the office, it's a huge tightrope walk. Think about it. Step 1, you highly compliment your star talent. Awesome. But step 2 happens at the exact same time. You unintentionally but very clearly insult the entire rest of your team by implying they're just basic chickens. And that leads straight to step 3. You've just created a horribly awkward elitist environment.
Because of that social friction, context matters immensely. You'll mostly hear this idiom used in third-person contexts, like talking about someone who isn't even in the room, or you'll see it in formal writing. You almost never hear it face-to-face in group settings, simply because nobody wants to accidentally call all their coworkers chickens. So it is safe to soak it up if you receive it as a solo compliment, like our dinner guest earlier, but it is super dangerous to drop casually in a crowded boardroom.
Let's wrap up with Section 6, a gentler alternative.
So what do you do if you really want to praise someone's amazing talent at work, but you actually want to keep your office harmony intact? Instead of using 鹤立鸡群, 鹤立鸡群, which sets up that risky hierarchy, consider a fantastic alternative, 出类拔萃, 出类拔萃. This translates beautifully to standing out from one's peers. It achieves the exact same goal of praising incredible excellence, but it totally removes the whole bird-based hierarchy thing. It's professional, it's highly complimentary, and nobody goes home feeling like ordinary poultry.
Okay, let's do a super quick, enthusiastic recap of the key expressions we mastered today. Number 1, our main event, 鹤立鸡群, 鹤立鸡群, to stand out from the crowd. Number 2, 鹤, the elegant crane. Number 3, 群, a group or flock. Number 4, our safer, HR-approved alternative, 出类拔萃, outstanding among peers. Number 5, 象征, to symbolize. And finally, number 6, that refined aura, 气质. You are officially equipped to use these.
I'm going to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. In your own workplace, or even just in life, is it better to strive to be the undeniable crane, or is it a higher priority to avoid making everyone else feel like chickens? It's a crazy balancing act between recognizing exceptional individual talent and keeping group harmony, a dilemma as old as the 7th century, yet perfectly relevant today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep learning, watch your context, and I'll catch you next time.
Hope you loved today's 8-minute upgrade. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.